Hello and welcome back. Today, I am joined by a True Challenge OG. He is part of the first ever Road Rules team to ever win the challenge. He's an all-star standout, and he is the great uncle of the challenge. Welcome in, Kefla. Thank you for being here. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm good. I appreciate you, man. I like that introduction.
I'm so excited to hear your perspective going all the way back from season 2 to now All Stars 4. Starting with All Stars 4, I do want to talk about that because it has been 25 years since you've been back on the show. Like,
Yeah.
when did you get the realization, like, oh, I'm back? I'm back on the show.
To be honest, I had a few moments. The one of the first ones was the first call I got, to for this season, of course, because I knew I was healthy. I knew I was going to do it no matter what. And then the other moments was when I was in the airport and the first person I ran into was Ace. He and I departed from Atlanta together. And it was like all these little moments was like, oh no, like for real, this is real. Then something else happened. I was like, no, this is real, real, real. And another moment was when we all got together. We were all in the hotel, and it was like, okay, we're getting ready to start. So we're all dressed, and they drive us to that vineyard where we did our opening shot. And when we see TJ come across that hill, I was like, yo, this is it. This is it. And then, so we filmed, and it wasn't until came home from work, and my wife surprised me with a viewing party with some of my closest friends and family. And so we sit down and we watch it. So we all watch it together. The first, I don't know how the cutting room floor is going to look. And
Mhm.
so when I'm sitting there watching it, like I didn't know what to say. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I was like, dang, that looks so freaking good. That was the moment. I guess that was like the cherry on top. Everything kind of led into it, but then when I saw that, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is it. It's starting. Yeah, and I got to school the next day and all my students had saw it and it was so much love, man. I was like, okay, I'm back.
That's awesome. And it had to feel especially good because in that first episode, I mean, you don't get a star, but you do
Mhm.
really well to get fourth place on the men's side. And you're finishing over players that have done regular seasons or modern era
Yeah.
of the challenge. And I mean, we saw you get emotional. I mean, what did you feel in that moment? Like, why was it so special for you? Was it like a reaffirmation, like, oh, I can still do this. I got this. Like this was I was supposed to be here.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Because when I actually started that challenge, I was behind. Everybody had finished their first star before I even finished mine. And I was going into my house like, dude, you going home the first day. I said, this is an embarrassment, man. This is the reason why they're not gonna ever bring back old heads again. How dare you do this? And so I was like, come on, God, you gotta help me. And so I started focusing, and all of a sudden, boom, one star, boom, the next star. And I started seeing myself get, higher and higher and higher. And everybody else was just staying in their own little spot. And when I got to the top, man, it was just, I was like, man, I'm actually here for another week. I made it. And I was trying not to cry because I said, as soon as I cry, my students are going to be on me. My wife is going to be joking me. So my boys are going to call me an embarrassment. So I was just going through stuff. And so that's what I was kind of like crying laughing because I was thinking of all of that stuff. Because my family, man, you got to have tough skin to live in my family. And so I was just, man, overwhelmed with joy. And it was, if they would have told me to go home right then, I'd been
Mhm.
like, cool. At least I didn't lose. I'm fine. I'm
Yeah.
here. I made it. I've showed myself as well as others that I still can do this, man. So I was excited.
That's awesome. And we've seen you. I mean, that was like a celebration in itself, but we've seen you have quite a few other celebrations on the show. I mean, are you like known for like busting a move and like
Oh
getting
yeah.
down and dancing and stuff? Like
Oh
I
yeah, yeah. That's my thing. Well, prime example. In college, I played football for 2 years in college. Then I at Troy University, and I transferred to Alabama State University. And I wanted to play football and baseball there, but they didn't handle my transfer stuff right. So I was trying to find something to do. So I became a mascot, and I was also one of the male cheerleaders on the cheerleading squad, tumbling and tossing the girls up. So in my school is a HBCU, so the band plays whatever's on the radio.
Mhm.
So when you're the mascot, you got to dance. So I would be in the middle of the game and just breaking it down and stuff like that. And not only that, while I was away, one of the things that I did, I moved to California when I got married, and I was a character called Hip Hop Harry.
Okay.
And Hip Hop Harry is a dancing bear. We were on PBS Kids and Discovery Kids. We're nominated for a daytime Emmy, and I was in this big hip hop bear costume dancing around. So dance has always been in me, So it's nothing for me when all of a sudden you get excited, you gotta do a little prep or whatever you want to do. So I was ready, man. That's just how I am. That's my personality.
And it's awesome because as a fan, I mean, when we get to see All Stars and OGs returning, I mean, we want to have that fun, that personality back. And I don't know if you've seen any of the more recent seasons on the MTV flagship show, but it feels a little bit more serious. Whereas All Stars, I feel like they let everybody like do their own thing, cut loose, and I think that's what makes you stand out. Is like we see you want to be there, and then you're also having a great time and competing and everything. And as a fan, I just really appreciate.
No, thank you.
There has been some All-Star contestants in the past say that when they get onto All Stars, no matter how many years has passed or how many seasons have passed that they've been on, they feel like they're transported back to when they played. Now, I know it's been the game has drastically changed since your original season, but coming back on All Stars, like, did it feel like you were transported back, or did you feel a difference coming on?
You notice the difference in just the way the machine is run again. Of course, when back when I was on there. You had those huge beta cameras, like now they're walking around, with tripods, moving drones and stuff. But the competition, as soon as you say compete, that doesn't change. That doesn't change at all. But for me and our All Stars in general, most of us had jobs, like career jobs. You had Jay and Nicole, they're firefighters. You got Laurel, who's a veterinarian. You got myself, I'm a teacher. And just so some of us, it wasn't that important for us to, the money is great, but at the end of the day, our bills are still going to be paid whether or not we're on this show or not.
True.
But when you talk about how the flagship show is so much more competitive, because a lot of them, that's all they do.
Yeah.
Their money and their careers lie in that. So it's like, I gotta be cutthroat. I gotta go for the gusto in this, because if I don't, I'm not going to get paid if I don't call back. A lot of us was like, all right, well, I'll see you later. I got to go to work and call in to work, So that's what I had to resign. I resigned from my teaching job just so I could get the opportunity.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I resigned. And luckily enough, I was able to get, my job back because I had a student teacher that held my spot as a long-term sub until I got back. But, it was little things like that we had to take risk of. But, so it was like the pressure was kind of off of us a little bit. It's more so about having fun, but when I first did it, I was young and I was like, I need this money. I'm in college. I need every dime I can for gas, rent, and whatever else,
Yeah. And going back to your original season, because I have a Patreon and we rewatch all the old seasons, and we've watched through season 2 recently. There's one mission I definitely want to talk to you about, because I feel like you've talked about it a lot, but it's one of the coolest missions that has ever happened on the challenge. And it is like you and your Road Rules team gets to play basketball against 2 Hall of Famers of Kobe Bryant and Reggie Miller. Can you take me back to like what you were feeling at that time? How does that go?
We had no clue, because at that time it was Road Rules versus Real World. We go to the Beverly Hills YMCA. And I'm like, okay, we at a YMCA. What are we gonna do? We had no clue. I'm thinking maybe it's something swim related, basketball related. So we get in the locker room and we have 2 sets of jerseys. I said, oh, we getting ready to hoop. I said, I know we're going to kill Real World in this, So we're excited. We open the door and we see 2 dudes hooping. And, we really don't see who they are, but all we noticed was they were making every shot. Because, one thing about reality TV is a hurry up and wait. Get to this spot, wait, got to clear. Get to this spot, wait, got to clear. Get to this spot. So we were doing a lot of that. We could kind of see through the window. And then when we bust open and we see it's Kobe and Reggie, I was like, oh my God. So we thinking we're going to be on one of the other team. Kobe may be one coach and Reggie be another coach. And when they tell us that the Road Rules team, since we won the previous mission at the time, they were called missions, we get to play them in basketball. Oh my God, we were so excited. Real World, only one person on the Real World team, that was Nathan at the time. He was pissed off because he was like, I love Kobe Bryant. And everybody was like, who are they? I don't even, what do they do? And it was like, he's like, they're only the greatest basketball players ever to live. And so they had to go watch the dogs, and we got a chance to hoop. And of course, I had to show my skills, and I got a chance to hit a three on Kobe. And then the next time I tried to hit a three, he smacked my ball so hard into the wall, man. And it was like talking trash to me. I was like, dude, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, But I mean, for what it's worth, man, it is one of the greatest moments of my life. He signed our shirt and stuff like that, and he gave us a pair of shoes. I still have the shirt. I still have the shoes. It's just amazing, man. For an icon like that, him or Reggie Miller both. To have that opportunity, it's crazy.
Fast forward to 39 seasons, a whole bunch of spinoffs, and I still think that is like the coolest like reveal / mission ever. Like I don't think anything tops it. And just to know like you're 50% away from washing dogs instead of like playing.
Oh my God.
It's wild.
I think had I not had that opportunity, man, I would have found some kind of way. I don't know what would have happened, but I would have found some kind of way to play. Dude, trust me, I would have did whatever. I would have watched the dogs in the bathroom otherwise or something. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, we were blessed to have won that previous challenge or mission in order to get that opportunity to play with those guys, man. It was incredible. And the cool thing about it was after that, because Kobe was such a fan of the show, we had no clue. Like he was saying, Kefla, oh man, when you was screaming and you had to milk those poisonous snakes, that was so crazy, man. And then you had that crocodile and you wouldn't even stay in the haunted house. He said, I'll feel you on that. I'll feel you on that. I was like, this dude know everything about us. So we kind of kept in touch. And he was just a real guy, man. And one of the things he told me, he was like, I appreciate you for being genuine. You just a dude, like I didn't, hey, come pick me up. No, he was like, hey, I'm in town. You told me to call you. I'm sending somebody to pick you up. Like that. It was just crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, it was because of just the genuine conversations we would have, man. Was insane, incredible, man. And a legend, rest in peace, God bless his soul. But it was amazing. And like you said, I don't think anybody else have had a reveal like that in the history of the challenge.
Speaking of your original Road Rules season, like I said, unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch the full season, but one of your biggest fans and one of my day one patrons, Lovable Nikki, sent me that clip of you having to milk poisonous snakes. Was it the reveal that they were poisonous, or do you have this like apprehension around every snake or reptile?
Oh yeah. I don't play with snakes, and they knew that. And I didn't pay attention. Like when I filled out my application for Road Rules, they was like, "What are your fears?" And I was like, "I'm not afraid of anything but snakes." That was it.
Oh.
I'll do heights, I'll do anything else, but snakes is the only thing I don't play with. Since snakes and crocodiles, because I feel like they got the upper hand. And so they were so excited when we did that mission. You could just see production behind the cameras. Everybody was laughing. And like when we get ready to go into a door, you see them start, key on Kefla. And I'm like, oh, what's ready to happen? And so if you pay attention to that episode with a small clip, you'll see my pants are tucked into my socks. Everything's tucked. I'm like, nothing's crawling up there. And when I scream, the reason why I scream is because the tail touches my wrist. And you know how if somebody's getting ready to do something, you just pinch their leg or something, everybody screams. And that's how it was, man. It's crazy. And the crazy part about it is our zoology teacher at the high school that I work at, she would show that every year they start talking about reptiles. And so next thing you know, the kids come back, oh, Coach Harry, you afraid of snakes, huh? Stuff like that. Get out of here.
Well, I share that fear as well. Like I don't do anything with reptiles. I don't do anything with snakes. Iguanas, nothing. I'm walking the other way. So I'm with you on that one. On your season 2, you were really close with Ronnie as well as Mark. Coming on to doing All-Stars or saying yes to doing All-Stars, were you hoping to see somebody from your like original Road Rules season or your challenge season?
I definitely wanted to see Susie on there with me because the relationship that she and I has now is amazing. When we were on the show, we were so different from two different backgrounds, two different outlooks on life and things like that. It was what the show was about, getting people from all over the world and trying to get them to live together. But as we gotten older and matured, our friendship has I mean, it has gelled. And just to watch her blossom into the person that she is now, as a mother, as a wife, as an entrepreneur, I'm her biggest fan. You know what I mean? And it's like personal with me. Like you say anything bad about her, you know, we gotta talk. You know what I mean? But I would love to have done one with her. Ronnie, because I know the competitiveness of her. You know, I know she is a dog. She would go in there and get you. And I know if I had somebody like that that would have my back, we can win. And then Mark, of course, because it would be great to see two of the original guys who started this thing, you know, the competition wise, you know, because they always like to make us be the second. No, we're the first. Because the first guy, the all-star, it was just traveling. It was kind of like a version of Road Rules. That's all it was. But for us to be competing against Real World versus Road Rules, that's a real challenge. And I think having the two OGs there, I think that would have, if anything, you would have got some great content. You know what I mean? Yeah, you would have got some great content of just the old heads talking and just sitting around watching the youngsters you go crazy and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
By label, it's season 2, but realistically, y'all were on the ground floor. Like that was the whole building blocks of getting up to where the show is today.
Yeah.
And speaking of Mark, he has been on social media giving you your flowers every single week, tagging you. What does it mean to have that support from a friend like that after all these years?
Man, it means everything, you know, because he has dealt with so many people, you know, in the challenge world. Has developed so many other relationships with people in the challenge world. But to see the tweets that he sent out, to see the posts that he make about me, man, it's like, it's kind of unbelievable. It's like, dang, you know, but I know the person that I am. I'm a good person. But it makes me feel good that I did make an impact on Mark. And he still knows that I'm a good guy, a good dude that he wants to see win, even if not on the challenge. He wants to just see win in life. You know what I mean? And that makes me feel good. Even when he first started the OG hashtag, we want OGs, he hit me up in a DM. He was like, you know, I'm thinking about doing this. And he kind of said the concept. And I was like, dude, that'd be dope. And you know, I'm definitely behind you 120%. You know, and just to know that he at least, you know, reached out and said, hey, Kefla, man, this is what I'm thinking about and all that kind of stuff, man. And to know that he still has love for me, man, I couldn't ask for anything better, man. You know, because when you get that kind of stamp of approval, you know, everybody in the challenge world is like, okay, let's see what this guy is all about, you know. And that's what people here, they at least giving me a chance. Because at first, when my name came out, they was like, who is this dude? He was in the 1900s, you know, chastity belt guy. You know, who is this guy? You know, we don't know this old head, you know, but now, you know, with Mark stamping the, you know, the seal of approval, and people are also seeing like, oh, okay, I see who Kefla is. Okay, this is what we needed. And you know, hearing things like, a breath of fresh air, just what the challenge needed. This is what OGs are all about. This is why the All-Star needs to be what it is. Man, I couldn't ask for anything better. I really couldn't.
Yeah, because I was actually going to ask you on a separate question about like what has it been getting the audience approval? Because I mean, we talked about it. The streaming service doesn't have Road Rules. They don't show your original challenge season or even the episode that you were mayor on. It's like you're coming in and it's almost like your rookie season all over again. People that weren't even born when your season aired of the challenge is tweeting out some love for you, even though they have no idea that like who you were coming into the season. I mean, that's gotta feel great.
Oh man, it feels amazing. When we first got to the airport, Brandon comes up to me and said, hey man, he said, look, I ain't trying to offend you, but when I told my mom you was coming on, she's like, oh, that's one of my favorite persons on the show. When I used to watch him, he said, when you were a little baby, I was like, dang, dude. So he was really like dating me back then, man. But it was so dope that, you know, I'm like, okay, that's cool. His mom was a fan of me on the show, and now he has the opportunity to compete with me and against me on the show. I said, that's full circle moment. But the love that I've been receiving has been amazing. I mean, you know, you got a few people that'll say, you know, that's just social media. They'll say the things, you know, here and there about me, but the love that I'm getting is crazy. And even more so because I'm not a center or a central focus of the show, you know, because they're looking for the drama between this person, the dynamics between this person.
Yeah.
But when they do show me the pieces that they do show, have people like tweeting it out and have people loving the fact that, you know, that I'm still there, even though I'm not fighting for time. And they say that he's not fighting for time and he's still memorable. I'm like, dang, I appreciate it, because that's one of the reasons why I was not on the show in the past, because I'm not going to give you anything besides who I am. And that drama is definitely not me, you know.
Who were you finding yourself naturally gravitating towards? Were you gravitating towards the older OG contestants like a Rachel, a Tina, an Ayana, or were you just being able to like talk to anybody organically throughout the entire house?
It was so crazy because I had a few people that said they wanted to meet me. One of the persons was Tyree. We were talking and chatting it up, and you know, and I'm the kind of dude, and that's why they call, you know, I say the great uncle, because I'm always giving advice to everybody. It got to the point in the house where everyone was just getting knowledge. It's like, oh, so, you know, they would call me coach, you know, or OG, coach, OG, talk about this, talk about that. They would come to me for relationship advice, because my wife and I at the time were going on 19 years of marriage, you know. It was just, and raising twin boys. It was just so much that I experienced, that I had, that everybody was gravitating to me, which was real cool. And we were having all kinds of side, you know, conversations. But the person that I started chilling with the most was Nicole. Nicole and I, we were chilling all the time, because she would always come around me to laugh. And I mean, she would be crying, laughing, just talking to me. And she was, I mean, just grabbing me, like hitting me when she's laughing. It's, oh my God, Kefla, I can't believe it. Hush, my guy. Oh my God, guy. Come on, Kefla, talk to me. Talk to me, man. Talk to me, brother. And so we would be talking, and I mean, we would be laughing on the way to the challenge, on the way back from the challenge, on the way to the club, back from the club. You know, that was just us. Tina and I grew close. If you see, we were partners a few times in some of the challenges. And, you know, just like I said, I was always talking with Leroy about, being a parent, talking with Brandon about, you know, flipping life around, talking with Ace about how it is just, you know, living in you know, in the deep South, how, you know, just Ace is so chill. And then, you know, he and I was always flowing. Carl Maria and I was talking about relationships a lot. Adam and I was talking about Flora. You know, I was giving Flora advice from her daughter for her daughter's trying to be, she's a tennis player, a great tennis player. Mm-hmm. And so my son at the time was going through the recruitment of, actually he was already in college for throwing track and field for shot put and discus. And so I was giving her how to ask coaches and, you know, about scholarships and all that kind of stuff. And so it was just so everybody would have something that they wanted to discuss with me, which was amazing. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know, I'm really not this dude that's just sitting here. And one of the things that I told some of my castmates is that, you know, well, I think next time we're all on the show, I'm pretty sure I got some relationships, right? It was like, oh yeah, we're getting there. They didn't say you are there. They was like, we're getting there. I was like, dang, you know. So
it's like that fine print. It's like, we're almost there. When you're in the house with everybody, they just feel how genuine and how authentic you are. And I think that's what also comes through the screen. Even when you're not being shown a lot, that's what's coming across. And I think that has to feel great that people are loving what they're seeing and accepting you for just being you, which is awesome.
It does. It really does, because I was nervous about that, you know, because a lot of times when you're not fighting for camera time, you kind of get lost in the shuffle. Mm-hmm. And I want to get lost in the shuffle to the point where at the end of the challenge, at the end of the whole show, that I'm not considered high on the board to come back, mm-hmm. you know. And a lot of times I feel like, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't, you know, I didn't really watch the shows as much, is because I felt like there was no place for me because of who I was as a person and how I operated when I was on those shows. I didn't like all the drama. I didn't like all the, I wasn't going to cuss nobody out. I wasn't, you know, going to stab you in the back to try to get a vote, you know, and so there wasn't a place for me in the reality world, in the challenge world. But after watching this season, how they really portrayed me, you know, and how the love that I'm receiving from, you know, all the challenge fans, that's what makes me, like, those crying moments and stuff like that is like, dang, there is a place.
I did look you up. and I saw that you are a doctor of psychology. Going into the season, did your psychology degree or being a coach help you in the experience of being on the show? And did you ever ask anybody to call you Dr. Kefla?
Oh, nah. No, I didn't ask anybody to call him, but I did let them know, like, when, we had to do things and they was like, oh, everything's not all about muscle. There is some brains involved. Ha, ha, ha. I was like, I am a doctor. But being in that field, of course, it allowed me to, it teaches me how to remain calm under pressure.
Mhm.
I also practice yoga and meditation. Actually, working on getting my yoga and meditation teaching certification. And so, doing those things, man, really help, when you get those stressful situations. As you saw the episode where Brad was just going through that, just going grabbing everything. And that's just, that's what they say Brad is. So I was like, yo, what happened? It was like, nah, Brad's like that. When stuff get pressure, Brad just, all that muscle just starts activating. He can't think right. And I was dying laughing while it was happening. But now with my education, it allowed me to, the practicing it and all that stuff allowed me to be more calm under pressure. It also allowed me to kind of see people's game plan ahead of themselves differently. It allowed me to know when to speak and when not to, because it slows things down a lot for me. And it's kind of like, when you see somebody looking at someone, and all of a sudden you see those formulas flowing, that's how it kind of works for me. I'll look at somebody and I'll see what they're doing. I'm like, ooh, I already know what they're about to do to that person. They playing them deep, so then I kind of sit back.
We see a conversation that you have with your wife about wanting to open up a wellness center, and you're a big advocate for mental health. How did you keep your mental health in a good space while playing a stressful game and being in the challenge environment?
I would meditate every day. I would get up in the morning. We had the most beautiful scenery. And we're overlooking Cape Town, South Africa, and there's a national, I don't want to say a national monument, but it's called Tabletop Mountain. And so it's all on the t-shirts and all that stuff. I think some of the cast members have tattoos of it on their arms and stuff. But it is me being there, knowing that I'm there, gave me the opportunity to just take some moment and give a moment of gratitude to God, to the universe, and I was giving gratitude to the producers, to everybody that was involved in having me put in this position. So I would do that every morning, and I would just really say, you've already won, regardless of what happens. So it took the pressure off of me to feel like I had to win. Some people, they actually need this. Like, this is their job. This is it for them. We're able to, purchase a home. We're able to pay for our boys going to college. We're able to, pay our cars and all that kind of stuff, man. So take trips. So every day I would really sit, man, and just thank God for the opportunity of me being there. So that allowed my brain to just, it was kind of softened, I guess you could say. Allow my brain to soften, allow my heart to just open up a lot more, and just to take it all as within the moment. Don't put any harder pressure on myself, and just continue to live. And that's what my wife and I both strive for. That's one of the reasons why we want to do a wellness center, because we see she's been teaching for 23 years. I'm at 22 years.
Oh, wow.
And so, and we've seen it. We've seen it on the good end. We've seen it on the bad end. We've seen it in our own home teams to deal with mental health issues. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, it's something that we know is needed, but it's also something that people kind of tiptoe around because they don't know how to address it, or they really don't want to address it themselves, because if I acknowledge it, then that may be a sign of weakness. For my child or for my family. And now you have everybody's trying to show off a stunt for the gram, that they really don't want to show that there is something wrong. And that's what we're trying to normalize getting help for yourself, and normalize the fact that you can speak about mental illness.
That's awesome. I really appreciate seeing you be able to talk about that and it being shown in the episode. And then I appreciate you opening up here about it.
Yeah, no problem. Now, thank you for allowing me to open up. That was important. Even on this show, there's a lot of content that they couldn't show, but I wish they would have, because, like sometimes I would talk about being a strong friend. And for whatever reason, I felt like being there allowed me to be vulnerable again. And so it allowed me to open up and kind of restart. And when I came home after everything was over, I was just so recharged.
Oh, wow.
My spirit recharged. Everything was recharged. It just gave me a sense of deeper purpose again.
If, knock on wood, you were to be called up again and you go out to do the challenge, what do you think on your next season you would be better at now that you've done an all-star season?
I'm training a little different, so just to have a little more young people oxygen, because I think I still had some of that middle-age oxygen in me, but now I said, I gotta train differently to get that back. Other than that, man, to be honest, I don't want to do anything different, because what I'm doing right now is, quote unquote, what people are saying is a breath of fresh air, is what they needed. And it's me. It's easy to be me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have to think about what I did yesterday, because I was being me. So what I would do differently is just keep training harder, and because I think I was training with doubt in my mind that they would not call me. You know what I'm saying? But now that I know that I did perform well and that I do have the potential of coming back, hopefully, when I'm in the gym, I just left the gym now and I was, training pretty hard. So those are the things that I would do.
I want to give you a chance to shout out your social media. Where can people find you, root for you, and keep in touch with you? And to see you on the next All-Stars or Challenge season.
Yeah, I'll do either one. It doesn't matter. I'll do that. I'll do Big Brother. I'll do, Trader. You name it. I'm ready, man. I haven't got the bug again, But they can check me out on Instagram. I have two. Kefla Hair, KEFLAHARE is one. And the other one is Dr. Kefla Hair. And my stuff was always private. And so, because students always wanted to get on it and stuff, and I just didn't want all of them on it. But then I finally opened it up, and it's like, it's not bad. So I'm cool with that. I think Twitter now is X. It's Kefla Hair. And then I have another one on there. It's Coach Kefla Hair. I have to use that one for my school stuff, but it's open. Either way, you can find me, because I post different things on each one. I'm on TikTok. I think Kefla Hair also. And those, I don't even use Snapchat, but if you find me, look me up. And my wife and I, we're in the works of doing a podcast, and it's going to be about, relationships, lifestyles, parenting, and she's just as crazy as I am. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to meet a lot of people from my family, and it's going to be loud and funny and educational and entertaining. Other than that, man, those are the other places you can find me. I do reply back when people say things, or they ask me a question. I'm from the old school of always speaking to people who spoke to you. So, if you have the time to text me that, I have the time to reply back, because without them, there would be no me.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, we're going to keep an eye out on you and your wife's podcast is going to be coming out. When it drops, I'm going to be tweeting it, retweeting it, posting it, sharing it. I can't wait to listen. And I just want to say thank you again for taking the time. You have been incredible to watch on the show. I hope and pray that we get to see you very soon back on the challenge.
Yes.
And yeah, this has been awesome. I really, really appreciate this, man. And I hope nothing but the best for you.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.